You know, Riot Games, you've really outdone yourself this time. Pyke looks like a really cool champion with a nice concept and seems to have a lot of potential. I'm really excited to see what this champion can actually do. Oh, that's pretty bad. Yeah, that's not too great. Well, maybe people just need to find a good build for him. Then the win rate will even out a bit. Jesus, it's worse than I thought. This cannot be healthy for the game. Now, wait, hold on. This isn't the first time we've seen something like this before. Remember Tank Echo Jungle? Yeah, it's essentially the same thing. The big difference is now Riot's recommended build is kinda really bad. Tank Pyke is actually good. Granted, you tried not to build any health while stacking resistances, but it actually doesn't matter. Pyke is actually a fantastic champion that is miraculously well balanced. However, let's just get a few things clear first. He is not a mid laner. He is not a top laner. He is not a jungler. He is a support and can only be a support. Can he win in the jungle? Sure. One of my friends used to win playing Vlad and Singe jungle. But really, Pyke is just a support. At first glance, you're going to think, oh man, an assassin support. So even if I get field support, I can build full damage in 1v9. And after playing him a couple games, you start thinking, maybe he's not that strong. Maybe he's just an ult bot. And you, my friend, are mostly correct. Pyke's ultimate is ridiculous, but I would argue it's not even the most important ability in his kit. Because honestly, if I told you that there was an ability that from a long range was a Nautilus hook, but close range was a Singed flip, you probably wouldn't believe me. But oh, do I have a surprise for you. Pyke's Q is called Bone Skewer, and if you charge it, it launches a Varus Q that hooks the first enemy hit. However, instead of just hooking them, Pyke launches them a set distance towards him. Since the pull is a set distance, if an enemy is within 500 units of him, they instead get flung over his head and back into the waiting arms of your team. It's a good disruption ability on the grounds you can actually hit it. If you just tap his Q, Pyke then shanks every enemy in front of him, dealing 115% increased damage and slowing for 90% for 1 second. However, it only does 50% damage to minions and monsters, which pretty much kills his potential to solo lane and jungle. Pyke's W is called Ghost Water Dive, and he becomes Evelyn for a few seconds. I'm only half joking because activating his W camouflages Pyke and grants him decaying move speed for 5 seconds. The move speed is actually pretty huge because at max level it goes up to 80% bonus move speed with an extra 4% per 100 AD. This sounds nice and all, but nearby enemies are given a warning when you're near by having little sharks circle underneath them. And yes, charging a Q takes you out of stealth. The ability is mainly used for roaming or catching enemies off guard. More often than not, you'll be using it to proc the healing from your passive. Pyke's passive is called Gift of the Drowned Ones, and it's another two-parter. The aforementioned healing comes from Pyke storing 30 to 81% of damage taken as gray health that converts into health once he is no longer in enemy vision, up to 50% of his max HP. So essentially at level 18, you heal for 50% of the damage you've taken once you're out of vision. This is countered by the other part of his passive where Pyke cannot gain any bonus health, so any bonus health Pyke gets is converted into bonus AD. So you can't just HP stack to abuse the other part of his passive. You can, however, increase Pyke's HP by increasing his base HP through the Overgrowth rune, or his max HP through the Gargoyle Stoneplate active, but it's really not even that worth it. Like many great assassins, Pyke needs some sort of movement ability. This movement ability comes from Pyke's E, Phantom Undertow. Pyke dashes in front of him, leaving behind a drowned phantom, aka a ghost Pyke. After 1 second, the phantom dashes towards Pyke, stunning anything it hits. The phantom will follow Pyke everywhere, even if he flashes. Other than that, it's just a dash. Use it to escape or use it to jump a wall, who knows, knock yourself out. Now, for the moment we've all been waiting for, the ultimate. Pyke's ult is called Death from Below, and this one, hold on, this one's a lot. Pyke strikes the ground in an X-shaped area, executing enemies below 190 to 655 health based on Pyke's level with an added 60% bonus AD ratio. And I mean straight up executing. Even if you are a full armor Malphite, you will still get executed from under 655 HP. If an enemy's health is above the execute threshold, they instead take physical damage equal to the execute, which is affected by armor. If Pyke does execute an enemy, you can cast it again for 20 seconds, and the last allied champion to get an assist also gets full kill gold along with Pyke. Here's a couple things you need to know about this ability. Firstly, it is not a targeted ability. You can miss, and enemies can just walk right out of it. Secondly, it counts as a blink, so if you're being grounded, then it prevents you from using it. And lastly, if an enemy would be executed anyway, then Death from Below ignores all shields and just executes them. So you can use this ability kind of like an AoE Darius ulti, where if you can manage to keep getting resets, you will just be unstoppable. While Pyke's ult is truly fantastic, Pyke's strength largely comes from his CC and the potential to stun multiple people at once. The ability to flip an enemy into your team is a very rare thing, and none of the champions that can do it have dashes. Pyke has a dangerous amount of mobility from out of CC he has, and if you can put that to good use, Pyke becomes a scary champion. Pyke's true champion is a heavy CC with massive execute rather than an assassin support, which leads me to another very important part, his build. As Pyke, you should honestly build as little damage as possible. The most I would recommend is Black Cleaver and or Guardian Angel. People are still trying to figure it out, but the best build seems to be abusing all the broken support items. Banner of Command and Zeke's Harbinger are disgustingly broken right now, and Pyke can use both of them really well. Pyke doesn't need damage to still do ridiculous amounts of execute damage. So instead, you build these broken support items that also make you deceptively tanky thanks to all the resistances they give. A lot of people are building Cleaver for more damage and 20% more CDR, which I haven't personally tried yet, but I do feel like I would like that extra 20% CDR in about every game I play. You should rush Banner of Command, seeing as how it is currently the most overpowered item in the game, and follow with more great support items like Zeke's and Zz'rots. Those are my favorite, but you can also get Locket, Righteous Glory, Knight's Vow. They're all broken. Get them all. And for runes, you should definitely take Resolve and Aftershock. Aftershock is easily the best keystone for Pyke, leagues better than Electrocute. After Aftershock, you take Bone Plating, either Conditioning or Chrysalis, up to you, and Unflinching. The second tree is pretty situational, but honestly try it out for yourself. The main secondary I've been taking is Inspiration with Futures Market and Cosmic Insight, but recently I've been going for Domination with Sudden Impact and Ingenious Hunter. But I recommend playing around with different ones and see which ones you like best. During lane, Pyke is almost useless. The enemies are normally too far away to reliably land your abilities, and even if you do, you probably won't be able to capitalize on just your Q without a gank. If an enemy gets stunned by Pyke in lane, that's a misstep on their part. And because you are just a squishy engaged champion without items, if you go in and mess up, you'll probably end up burning a summoner spell or two for your mistakes. You can win a lot of fights at level 6, but level 1 through 5, you might as well not be a champion. During team fights, you should probably try to hang around the side until you can try to get a pick with your Q. Or you could stun a couple enemies with your E. Play around your ult and try to execute as many people as you can. You can seriously disrupt a fight with a well-timed Q on an important target. Harpooning an enemy AD or mid during a team fight will at least burn a flash, if not even result in a kill. You have to remember though that even with a bunch of armor and MR, you still have almost no health, so just diving into the enemy team will probably get you killed. But if you can stay to the side and try to land your Qs, you can just always hang back and regen any poke damage you've taken. Depending on how aggressive the enemy team is, they might even try to blow all their stuff on you. But honestly, if an enemy jungler or a top laner or a mid laner blow their ult on the support instead of the AD or the mid laner, that's totally fine. Once I played a game where the enemy Vi, Sejuani, and Mordekaiser all just blew their ults on me, and my AD carry and my mid laner just won every fight. It was a weird game. So now, is Pyke viable? Yes, but barely in my opinion. Thanks to his crazy CC and his ult, Pyke can absolutely dominate a game. However, why would you play him when Soraka's open? What about Janna or Lulu or Karma? Riot looks to be nerfing shield supports next patch, but that just opens doors for champion like Alistar and Rakan, who both just dumpster Pyke. Pyke is very good, but he's not the best. But he also doesn't have to be. Pyke is good, Pyke is playable. When was the last time you've seen a Nautilus in your game? Aside from this event. What about a Diana or a Kindred? Not every champion needs to be in the top 5 to be playable. Pyke is a very good and balanced spot right now. His win rate is only so low because he's an absurd amount of people playing him because he's the new champion. And they're all probably building him wrong. Once the new champion hype dies down a little and his win rate evens out a bit, I think it'll hover around 50%. But that's just my opinion. I want to hear what everybody thinks of him. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Danny, and I'll see you next time.